Yo, what's going on, guys? Truzy here, coming back at you with a brand new video, and today we're going to be talking about CWL Rostermania. So, if you guys don't know what Rostermania is, it's basically like a period where the pros get to change their rosters to their team, and usually it wasn't too crazy, but the past couple of years it started to pick up a little bit, especially last year, because of the COD burner. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's a anonymous source that actually leaks a lot of true information about some of the pros and moving on and stuff like that. So he's basically a pretty credible source, and today we're going to be talking about what he has been saying on Twitter, because he's finally active again after last period. So let's get to it. Okay, first things first, we're going to be talking about the rumored change from Denial, and supposedly they dropped all their players but one. It doesn't say who they officially dropped, but the rumor is that they picked up Rated, Bance, and Joe, and they're looking at Brack possibly too, but there's a big rumor of him going to Envy, so nobody really knows. But as of right now, I mean, for Denial, that's 3 huge pickups. I mean, you get 3 guys with big names on them. Rated, Bance, and Joe have been probably 3 of EU's, bigger named players, up there with the Jerds and stuff like that. So, big pickup for Denial. I'm really interested to see on how this team, builds the rest of their roster, because, obviously they still need 2 players. There are some players that I think Denial can pick up that we're going to talk about later in the video with some of the later rumors that are happening. But as of right now, that's what's happening with Denial. They're most likely dropping their whole roster, keeping 1 as a backup, picking up, 3 of EU's finest players. I think this is big for them. Get back in esports in a big way. Moving on to our next rumor, we have Envy making a big change, and apparently Hook has full control over what the team's going to do from the standpoint of, players. And what Hook wants to do is he wants to drop everybody, and he wants to build the team around him, Scraps, and Zero. And, I mean, I think right there, that's a really good 3. You got a couple former MVPs, or MVP caliber players, I should say. Guys that can really take over games, and when you just, you put them on a team together, I think it can really get dangerous. They can go after, other people like Brack. Brack's rumored to be, their 4th possibly. So Envy's looking pretty good from just a pure roster, on paper standpoint. They have an ability to, even possibly win a tournament if these rumors are true. Scraps, Zero, Hook, Brack, these guys are stars, and I feel like they'd be a really good team if they ended up teaming. So the one thing to actually note from this whole Envy, rumored to pick up Scraps and Zero thing actually, is if FaZe can manage to get a roster spot, which I believe Red Reserve is selling, because, obviously they're getting out of esports, but if they're able to get a roster spot, then I heard Scraps and Zero would actually prefer to go to FaZe purely for the clout standpoint of, FaZe is a huge esports organization, just a huge organization in general. So, I mean, obviously those guys are looking to build a little bit more than just, a team that can win. They're obviously looking out, to build their brand as well, and, I mean, it's a smart move for them, but I mean, if you get a chance to team with Hook, I think you got to take it. I mean, he's one of the best players in the game right now. The guy literally hard carries his team throughout games. He could single-handedly win you at least 1 game per series, and that's just ridiculous to think about what one player could do. So, if I was in their shoes, I mean, obviously you got to look at the situation that they have with Hook. I think you take that one over getting a little bit of extra followers and clout from FaZe, I feel like the Hook Envy offer is just something you can't pass up on. Okay, the next thing we're going to be talking about is the rumored change that Splice might go through. And it says here that Temp is trying to drop either Aqua or Accuracy. It says most likely Accuracy. And Splice is one of those teams that they've been consistently like a top 5 team, maybe top 3 throughout the whole year, but it seems like they can't get over that top 3 hump and, be a team that all the teams in the pro league are scared of. They just haven't really lived up to that. Inconsistencies have been plaguing that team in my opinion. I mean, you look at the pro league matches from crossplay, temp really couldn't heat up with too much. They just look, I don't know, that team just doesn't have enough power to beat top teams consistently, and I think if they were able to pick up possibly a top guy, maybe even from Red Reserve, how they're selling all their players, pick up one of those guys, I think this team has the ability to, win a tournament at that point. You look at the available players they got, although Bance hasn't had a great year, they have Bance as an option, Zero, Scraps, all these, top players that can possibly be picked up, and I think it'd really help lift that team over the hump of being a top 3 team to possibly a tournament winner, top 2 consistently throughout the year. I just really feel like with the inconsistencies that they had, there has to be a change, and I think this is their best chance to do it. Okay, and the final rumor we're going to be talking about here is Evil Geniuses. So, according to Codburner, Evil Geniuses is keeping attached for the remainder of their loan. And with that being said, they want to drop everybody on their roster and keep attached. It's a risky move that possibly could work out, but I don't know. With their record being so bad, it's going to be hard to convince a lot of players to take a chance on a team that, just doesn't look good at all. So, if they can manage to get some players in there to help Attach, because Attach has been phenomenal. Respawns has been great. S&D's been great. Control, he's even been great. He's been the best player on EG by far, and he needs some help. Now, the issue is can they get those players? And when they get those players, what are they going to do when Attach does leave? Because, remember, he is on a loan from FaZe, as well as 100 Thieves, Priesta, and Replays the coach for 100 Thieves. He's on a loan. And according to Codburner, they're not going back to FaZe until their loan is up. They're not going to be, both teams are going to keep their players until their loan is up, which, obviously it's a smart thing to do. 100 Thieves massively improved from picking up Priesta at the EG. I mean, they didn't improve, but they found themselves a stud, a guy that they can build the team around for at least the rest of the year. And I think with how things are looking for them, they have to, they have to help Attach. They have to get him some slayers, some people that fit with him. And if they do, I mean, Attach is a good enough player that I think they can, make runs in tournaments. I don't think they'd be anything good though with like what their options are for those players. Like I don't think, like, basically all the rest of the players that are left are kind of like just the I guess you could say, not, they're kind of like your bench players from the NBA. They're just like the last of the bunch, and I don't think that's good enough to help build a championship team with EG, especially when players probably don't want to be on that organization considering their pro league record. But yeah, EG possibly making a change, dropping their whole roster. That's a big one. Okay guys, that's been the video. If you liked it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This has been Truzy. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Peace.